Our regular viewers of Telile 24/7 and the regular council coverage here on Telile might remember that just a month ago, Richmond Municipal Council and the town of Port Hawkesbury signed a 10-year contract for the Port Hawkesbury Volunteer Fire Department to provide fire service protection to the community of Point Tupper. We got the Richmond reaction to that deal on our last show. Now let's go to Port Hawkesbury, where Mayor Brenda Chisholm-Beaton has her thoughts on the 10-year contract signed between the two sides, ending a stalemate that had gone on for many months.
Well, because this has been an ongoing conversation around fire services between the town of Port Hawkesbury and between Richmond County Council, what I guess the kind of aftermath of that conversation has been some kind of lack of stability with Point Tupper. So certainly looking at a 10-year contract does create that stability for fire services and protection. And Point Tupper residents, Point Tupper businesses, Point Tupper industries, they make up this incredible industrial hub that's very critical to Richmond County first and foremost, but also to the Strait region. So having a 10-year contract does create that stability and consistency that's needed.
Mayor Chisholm-Beaton, this has often been a heated topic of conversation between the town and the county. That was especially the case over the past year. What do you think changed the tone of the conversation in terms of fire service protection for Point Tupper?
I think that one of the discussion topics that kind of certainly occupied our town council's minds then and now was to make sure that we come up with a clear and auditable formula for fire services that makes sense and that can also ebb and flow with the changes that can come, whether it's growth or whether it's decline. So the formula that the town of Port Hawkesbury proposed was an assessment-based formula, kind of modeled as a shared service agreement, so that we take the assessment value of the town, the assessment value of Point Tupper, the overall hard cost of providing that service on an annual basis, and figuring out that sharing scenario that is based on assessment, so that if there is a change of assessment, then the formula changes so that it's very equitable, it's easy to determine. So this was the the formula that was proposed to the former council, and I think one of the sticky points was that there really wasn't any agreement around what was that best formula to use, or how do you kind of ground our service agreement in something like that. If it wasn't that formula that was agreed upon, like what would that formula look like? And I think what really allowed for us to have very kind of positive conversations with this new council is that in reviewing the original proposed funding formula, that there was a general agreement that it should be assessment based, and it should be based on what that annual hard cost is to operate the fire department, with some concessions that may arise that may be unique to Point Tupper, whether it's maybe training for industrial fires or that sort of thing. So at the end of the day, our council felt like we were heard, and our original kind of assessment-based formula was, the Richmond County Council really took a very careful look at that, and an agreement was reached with regard to that funding formula. And I'd like to think that at the end of the day, the town of Port Hawkesbury, of course, in partnership with our Port Hawkesbury Volunteer Fire Department, we did have a core kind of negotiating team. Councillor Mark McIver was on that team, as well as Terry Doyle and myself, and in turn Richmond County had a core kind of negotiating team. So once we kind of came up to the final ask or whatnot, we were very pleased that our council did want to move forward. The 10-year agreement actually came forward. Councillor McIver's was his suggestion to rather than having to come back and rehash this in 5 years' time, having that as a 10-year term would really kind of add that stability and give confidence to our Point Tupper residents and industries and businesses, which I think is very important.
Has there been any reaction from folks in Point Tupper or even from right here in Port Hawkesbury about this new 10-year fire services deal?
Absolutely. Warden Mumberket reached out to all of our industry and business partners, and some of the feedback, was quite positive, and I think it was appreciated that both councils were able to come up with this agreement, and certainly, we have had some residents reach out as well to say that, they feel much more comfortable knowing that that response times will be, much shorter with the Port Hawkesbury Volunteer Fire Department being the fire department of record, so that, as the main responders.